Good evening everyone and welcome along to the WWRL League here on F1 2018. The venue for the 8th race of this 21 round championship is the brand new, well I say brand new, but brand new to the F1 calendar is the new Paul Ricard circuit here in Le Castellet in the south of France. This track hasn't been on the calendar since the 1990s. And with these new cars, it's going to be very interesting to see what twists and turns will take place in today's race. The circuit then is 3.6 miles, and it's got a lot of runoff area. You can see the blue marks right here as I'm on board with the McLaren of Ocean Chief, and the red marks, which is the outer area, you could say, of the runoff area. We've got 15 turns, a mixture of high speed and low speed ones, lots of high speed ones in the final sector, and the first sector is a pleasure to drive for some of the drivers, and the Mistral Straight in the second sector will provide the main action for overtaking in today's race. Let's go on board with Satoshi as he takes us through a lap of the circuit Paul Ricard. I'm going to use him as my guinea pig to kind of guide me around the track because, you know, being in the new track on the F1 calendar, it's prone to cause some havoc and knowing all the different corners, but he's made through turn 1 and 2 very nicely indeed. Now to turn 3. That isn't a corner, surprisingly. That was straight until these two corners, and now a very sharp fifth corner, and now sweeping right-hander, which you think he could take it flat out, but no, not a chance. This is flat out though. Onto the Mistral Straight goes the Sauber. The DRS is wide open on his rear wing of that beautiful Sauber car. Now braking around the 100 meter board is ideal, and he does that to perfection. Clipping the curb nicely, not running too wide, I should say, because we have added strict corner cutting for this race. That means if drivers use the track illegally, deemed by the FAA, then their lap time will be invalidated. And Satoshi is still going, so that probably shows that he hasn't had any trouble with the stewards so far. And the third sector is quite hard to gain any advantage going off the track. This corner is very difficult to get right, but he does it quite well indeed. And now into the penultimate corner, sweeping left-hander for a very sharp right-hander to close out the lap. Satoshi full on the pedal, and now rising a little bit uphill towards the line, put himself third place on the super soft tyres. Now that's going to be intriguing to see how he can make those last in the race. I think Satoshi is trying again up towards the line. Does he improve? Yes, he does. He leaps Smoltino and puts himself on the front row of the grid on those super soft tyres. That's very surprising, considering, you know, you would think with the super softs, you know, if you use them for the second lap, you're going to lose at least 2 or 3 tenths maximum. Well, not even maximum, minimum. But Satoshi pulls out the bag and improves, and that results in the Sauber on the front row of the grid alongside SAGITARII. Satoshi has retired from the session, so he will be starting no higher than third place on the grid. Smoltino is right behind him, as Basicino is right in front of him, so he's inside. He's a filling inside of a Mercedes sandwich. What about Smoltino? He comes up towards the line now, and he goes second. Still 8 tenths down on SAGITARII. The Mercedes are fighting their car, as much as they can to try and dislodge the Renault, but it's not working for them, and they're only second and third at the minute. On board with Rick Vega now, the only driver yet to set a time. He's on the super soft tyres, and really only has this and possibly another attempt, but this is the most ideal attempt for him, and oh dear. He's obviously not happy with that, because he decided to smash into the barrier about 300 kilometers an hour. Well then, Rick Vega starting the French Grand Prix in 16th position. Here goes SAGITARII then, on his third flying lap He went quick. He went quick on his first. He went even quicker on his second. Can he go even quicker on his third? It'll take some beating. But regardless, he is on pole at the minute, and it looks unlikely that anyone's going to mount any sort of challenge on that pole position. The brake marking boards have seemed to disappear, but it still worked for SAGITARII. Coming to the chicane and back onto the Mistral straight. HZ has retired from the session. He'll start no higher than 9th place. But through the sweeping right-hander, flat out for the Renault, and now into Le Bousset. I think that's how you pronounce it. Very difficult corner. It's a double apex. Getting a mini tank slipper on the exit, but just about keeping it on the island there. Sportino's retired from the session. Bascadino's out of the session as well. It's all down to SAGITARII. Can he improve on that 129.4? Bit wide into the penultimate corner. Into the final corner. A little lock up on the right front. Will that harm him? Up towards the line now. DRS wide open. SAGITARII crosses the line. It's a 121.2. He improves by 0.2 of a second. And that is definitely a second pole position this season for the German driver in the Renault. SAGITARII takes pole position here at the French Grand Prix. Milk is one of the only guys left in the session. His lap is not transpiring quite well. He improves, but it's got invalidated. He's starting 6th alongside his teammate, Mantis. Here's your classification. Then SAGITARII takes pole position ahead of Sportino, alongside him on the front row. Bascadino right behind those two, and alongside Satoshi in 4th. And it's a Haas for the 3rd row of Mantis and Milk. Anonymous and Adam make up a Toro Rosso 4th row. HZ in 9th, and Chrysios rounds out the top 10 with Agent Smith in 11th place. Let's gear up then for what promises to be a very intriguing French Grand Prix. The formation lap gets underway. It is clear skies here in the south of France. No rain looking like to appear, which is great news for probably all the drivers, I would assume. SAGITARII leads them through this 3.6 mile circuit for the first time. Right, so it's just off for the top 3. Then Satoshi on the Super Soft alongside Mantis, Milk on the Ultra Softs, Anonymous on the Supers, and then everyone outside of the top 10 are on the Super Soft tyres. So 1 stop or 2 stop, we'll have to wait and see. I think Riga is already on his grid spot. I think he's very eager to get this race going, unlike the other 16 drivers who are, well, SAGITARII is just rounding the final corner now, but here we go then. First French Grand Prix league race here in WWRL. This is shaking up to be a classic. Let's hope for some great racing as Power Gamer, a new guy in the league, is forming up onto his grid while the last 17 drivers to form up as we gear up for the French Grand Prix. It's SAGITARII on pole alongside Sportino. We have 5 red lights on ahead of the drivers. And it's lights out and away we go. SAGITARII gets a good start. A lot of wheel spin from the Renault, but he covers off the Mercedes. Into turn 1 we head now. Renault ahead of the Mercedes, ahead of Satoshi, I should say. Mantis up into 5th place. Make that 4th place. He gets past Satoshi into turn 3. We head now. We're all keeping it clean. Toro Rosso of Anonymous diving down the inside of the Sauber, but it's SAGITARII with a comfortable lead out in front ahead of the 2 Mercedes. Anonymous and Satoshi battling out, and Satoshi's lost out of place. Has he picked up some damage on his car? I don't think he has. Milk is all over the tail of the Sauber as they head onto the Mistral straight for the first time of 27 laps. Milk is pressurizing the Sauber. Is he going to try and move down the inside into the chicane? Locks up for good measure, but he can't get past him just yet. Oh, he clips the rear end. No damage, it looked like, for that front wing of the Haas as Chrysios and Adam are making moves throughout the field. Look at the train that's causing through the right hand, and we go now And it looks like drivers are settling into their positions as a Force India going very wide of Rick. It looks like Rick trying to make his way up the field. Adam and Zerd, not Zerd, H-Zerd are swapping positions. Has Adam picked up from front wing damage? He looks like he's struggling a little bit there. I think he has done. Rick Viga is all over the tail of the Toro Rosso man. Toro Rosso, oh, he slides into the final corner. Did he pick up anyone with him? I don't think he did. No, he did. Panda Cruiser got caught up in the incident. Sven's had a mare here. Oh, he's picked up some front wing damage on the back of the Toro Rosso. What a chaotic end. The Zadabs also got involved in the incident. Mantis pits. What for? Doesn't look like he's pitted onto a new set of tyres. He's still on that super soft tyres that he qualified on. Did he jump start? I didn't catch it. I do apologise if he did jump start and it just went over my head. Whoa, hey, Sir has gone off. Did he make contact with Rick? I'm not 100% sure. He might have just lost it on traction. Whatever happened, he's lost the place to his teammate. And that's Ocean Shift under pressure from Agent Smith. They're going side by side. The tree's got in the way of that camera angle. For goodness sake, but we managed to pick up Agent Smith getting past the Mercedes. Not Mercedes? That's the McLaren. Anyway, Pobo Gamer is all over the tail of the McLaren. He's going to go for the move into the corner. Oh, there's contact! Oh, they spun off! And that's surely a retirement. Yes, Ocean Safe is out of this race. And Popo Gamer went into the back of him. He slammed into the side pod of the McLaren. And that has resulted in the McLaren DNFing in today's race, with Williams managing to limp on. But that must feel horrible. That'll definitely go to the stewards. And that might be deemed as the Williams fault on his debut, the Williams, and that is definitely not how you want to make your mark here in WWRL. Battle for second place is really heating up there. We got a 4-card train. Smoltino, Bascadino, Anonymous, and Satoshi make up second, third, fourth, and fifth. Is that Anonymous crying on the inside of the Mercedes? Bascadino having to go a little bit wide to cover off any attack from the Toro Rosso. This could bring Satoshi into play. Satoshi's not just getting to play side by side with the Toro Rosso. He's on the inside, so surely he'll get the move done. But they're still going side by side. Oh, that's off! Smoltino's off into the wall, and he's out of the race! Big drama here. In the French Grand Prix, the championship leader, Smoltino, has slammed into the barriers. Did he make contact with someone? Maybe it was his teammate, Bascadino. Big drama here, and Smoltino, your championship leader, is probably not going to be your championship leader after today's race. He's out. As Bascadino pits as Satoshi and Anonymous. Satoshi has got past the Toro Rosso. Rick Vega has put himself up into 4th place, starting from last, having that extremely horrific crash, slamming into the barriers, is now up into 4th place and not far behind these two guys. And if these two guys get into battle like they did in Canada a week ago, I'm sure Rick is definitely going to be licking his lips in anticipation for a podium. That could be possible. Even with the fallen victim of Smoltino, there's still a battle commencing for second place. Rick Vega is really quick on these super soft tyres as SAGITARII comes into the pits. You can hear his mechanics getting to work on that. Brand new, the Force India of Rick Vega is going to challenge the Toro Rosso into turn 1. Not really a place to see overtakes done. He's forced the Toro Rosso out onto the runoff area a little bit there, but he gets past the Toro Rosso up into second place. Goes the Force India to an effective 3rd place, because SAGITARII has obviously come into the pits for his first of possibly 2 stops. And now he's surely going to be trying to challenge the Sauber of Satoshi, who currently leads this race. SAGITARII has just pitted and he's got a Ferrari of Olga Bogelman right in front of him, but not much longer. He pulls out to the inside. Ferrari doesn't put up that much fight, and through the Mistral Straight and through the chicane of this Mistral Straight, and SAGITARII has moved himself up into 6th place As Rick Viga and Satoshi have made moves. Satoshi's off into the runoff area there. Did they make contact? Whatever happens, Satoshi has lost out hugely here. Losing 2 positions. Rick Viga takes the lead of the French Grand Prix. Again, it is not an effective lead because SAGITARII has come into the pits. But on those super soft tyres, he's made a gain and a half on all these other guys. And Satoshi comes into the pits, does he? No, he doesn't. As his yellow flag in sector 3. Is it for Ugga Bugga Man? Surely not. Yes, it is, I think. He's had some problems. And he is off, way off the track, it looks like. As SAGITARII getting past H-Third. Already making up 2 places on the first lap. On his out lap, I should say. And now he's got 2.7 seconds up to the Williams of Agent Smith in 4th place. As he tries to clear this oncoming traffic. SAGITARII is hunting for his next victim. Agent Smith is there for the taking for the Renault. He just hit the fast lap of the Grand Prix on that last lap. So he is going extremely quick on those new set of super soft tyres. Pulls out to the inside on the Misto Straight. Getting past the Williams for the braking zone of the chicane. And up into 4th place goes the Renault. Another car past him. Mantis and Baskino commencing battle. Mantis defending extremely well into turn 1 and turn 2, forcing the Bascadino, the Mercedes, I should say, to a place he probably didn't want to go through turn 3, 4, and now 5. Baskadino will probably look for a move down Miso Straight, where most of the mistakes have been completed in today's race. Doesn't get the best exit there. But now with DRS wide open on the Mercedes and the slipstream, he should be able to pull much closer to Haas. Is it enough to challenge into chicane? No, it isn't. Not just yet. Or is he going to try down the inside into Labuse? Yes, he is. Mantis gives him room. Mantis just stays ahead. He has the inside line for the next corner. Baskino very audacious to go around the outside of Mantis there. Can't pull it off just yet. Great racing between these two. And Baskino still just behind him, but gets a little bit out of shape on the exit of the penultimate corner. Now gets a great exit compared to Mantis onto the front straight. They're going side by side along the line, along the start-finish straight, I should say. And Baskino up into 6th place. He goes. He dispatches off one of the Hasses. And now he's got 11 seconds up to Agent Smith in the Williams. Here comes Milk on Anonymous. Anonymous on those brand new soft tyres. This is exactly what he doesn't need. A driver overtaking him into the chicane of the Misto Straight. The Haas gets past the Toro Rosso, but runs wide on exit. Could that invite the Toro Rosso to challenge him down the back end of the massive straight? They're going side by side. I think the Milk is letting him by after probably feeling a bit bad for overtaking him. Can this camera angle stop looking at the trees? We'll look at the drivers. FOM, not the trees. As much as they look exceptional on this new game, with the great graphics, we want to see all the drivers going Cameron Tong as Rick Viga comes into the pits then for his set of soft tyres. He's probably going to fire out ahead of Toro Rosso, but where in comparison to Baskadino? I think he's going to be ahead of as he's going to be very close. Coming out of the pits, Rick Viga comes out and he's behind he's quite far behind Baskadino, but crucially for Baskadino and SAGITARII, they both have to pit once again. Unlike Rick Viga, could Rick Viga take a miraculous win? This would be something not even Hollywood could script. Like, you thought Lewis Hamilton's comeback victory in Germany was something to behold. Nah, this is levels above. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Only halfway done of this race. Rick Viga is in 3rd place. Pasquino has been overtaken by Rick Viga for 2nd place. He picks up a 3-second penalty to add to his woes. Still in my podium places, but going to have to pit sooner rather than later, as will SAGITARII. Look at this, Satoshi, and Anonymous. Satoshi has got past his man, up into 4th place. Goes the Sauber, and finally he has cleared that Toro Rosso. He's going to have to pull a gap to avoid any pressure from the Toro Rosso, who will have DRS, I assume, onto the mid-source straight. 3/10 to gap, so it's not just over just yet. I don't want to be looking at Agent Smith, sir. I want to be looking at Anonymous. I think he's a bit too far back, not using the full ERS to his usage. And I think that's the battle over and done with. Satoshi up into 4th place. Oh, Manta's Chris Yoss going side by side. Manta's getting past the Ferrari. And that is the Ferrari down a place into 8th on those super soft tyres at quite one right now. So you might want to consider pitting very soon indeed. Manta's moved up into 7th place. I think it's a bit too far to catch Agent Smith in 6th, so 7th might have to do for the Haasbahn. Look at that battle in the background. That's Panda Cruiser trying to defend from not just one driver, but 2 drivers. Already been passed by H3rd into the chicane, and he gets passed by Milk as well. SAGITARII is in the pits. Where is he going to fire out in contrast to Rick Vega? Rick Vega comes out. There comes SAGITARII out into the pit lane, and he is behind. Quite far behind, but he's crucially ahead of these two battling. He's going to try into the penultimate corner. He's very close indeed. Mantis gives him room once again for the Mercedes. He's going to try from the outside into the final corner. He thinks better of it to go the switchback move, which he's done to absolute perfection. Now they're going wheel to wheel down the main straight. No, they're not. Baskino, you pulled out. Come on, man. That could have been a great switchback move, but he decided think better of it and possibly get past on the Mistral straight, which once again I have to quote this, it has been the main source of overtaking for this race, so it doesn't really surprise me that Baskino is trying for this approach because it's worked time and time again. As it takes Zerd and Milk in the background, but we're focusing on the battle for the higher points paying positions. Mantis staying ahead of Baskino. Baskino finally is in a position where he could attack on the Haas. Where will the Haas defend? It won't really defend a lot. Side by side. How much longer? Mercedes getting past the Haas into the braking zone. And that is Baskino up into 6th place here in the French Grand Prix. Oh, look how close. The Renault is getting to that rear end of that Pink Panther. Now down the start-finish straight. Across the finish line to start lap 21 of 27. SAGITARII just going to tuck in for the minute. I'm going to try and get past on the Mistral straight once again. Force India looking very vulnerable, as Danny Rick would say, for SAGITARII, as that is Uggabugaman in the ghosted Ferrari, who might get DRS here to Rick Vega. I'm not sure where the DRS detection point is. I think, oh, there it is, I think. So, no DRS for Rick Vega, so he's at a massive disadvantage here, as here comes SAGITARII now. Rick Vega pulling to the inside, but I think it's too little too late defense. Round the outside goes the Renault, and into the lead once again goes SAGITARII. He's got past the Force India, and he'll sail off into the French sunset, and he takes over the lead of this crazy race here at Paul Ricard once again. But he's going to try and go down the inside into turn 1. He's side by side. And now he is ahead of the Force India. Finally getting past the Force India. Going a bit wide on turn 2. But no harm done there for Milk. He's up into 8th place and dispatches off the Force India, who unfortunately has to settle into 9th place. Satoshi and Anonymous are swapping places. Satoshi trying to fight back on Anonymous, who looks like he got past the previous lap. But Satoshi getting back past the Toro Rosso on into the chicane, and he asserts his place back onto the podium places he goes. I look at the clouds glooming overhead as this yellow, black and yellow Renault car sails his way through turn 1 and 2 for the final time. The Pink Panther tries to close him down, but he can't do anything to stop the ferocious Renault car, who's been absolutely flying in today's race. Even with that 2-stop strategy, he has managed this race to perfection. He's managed his tyres to absolute beauty and will definitely take a well-deserved victory. What about the battle for third place then? Is it all over? We'll have to wait and see. Anonymous, look at that, both of their drivers. Look at the bottom right hand side of your screen. You can see the ERS up at 5, which is hot lap mode for both of them. This is Anonymous' last attempt to get past Satoshi. Look how much he's gaining. Gaining down the middle straight. Pulls out to the inside, breaking into the chicane. Saba just about hangs on there. But Toro Rosso tries to switch back move through the chicane. Not getting past just yet. We'll have the slipstream down towards the sweeping right hand. He pulls out to the inside for the turn. They're going side by side. Toro Rosso getting ahead. This is Satoshi's off. Satoshi's off. He managed to keep it on the island. What drama there! Satoshi on the final lap as SAGITARII wins the French Grand Prix. Rick Viga comes home to take second place. He is my driver of the day from 16th on the grid. Coming home to take the runners-up spot. Anonymous will round out your podium. Satoshi, how gutting that must feel to lose that third place you held for so long on the final lap. It's going to be Agent Smith who comes home for 5th place, a very well controlled race. He was pretty much in no man's land. But he picks up 10 points for his championship tally. Mantis and Milk are going side by side into the final corner. The two Hasses going hammer and tongue, and it looks like Milk has borrowed that even. That's Hazard off. He's made contact. Panda Cruiser is too far behind. Mantis ahead of Milk, ahead of Hazard. 7th, 8th and 9th. Bascadino, who made contact with his teammates at the very start. He takes 6th place. Not very good weekend for Mercedes. Panda Cruiser rounds out your top 10. And again, another lonely race of Panda Cruiser. His strategy not really working that well. And Crazy Yoss and the Ferrari, look at the two Scarlet Reds coming through the final corner. One of them is Ghosted, one of them is a Royal Life driver. Crazy Yoss comes up towards the line, and there we have it then. Paul Ricard, you didn't disappoint. There's your podium then. For the second time of the season, it is SAGITARII on the top step of the podium. Picking up a second win. That's trophy. Isn't that good, to be honest? You know, you saw the real life trophy of, was it the gorilla, that red gorilla? That was pretty special. Sight to behold, but you know, the trophy here in the game isn't as spectacular. I'm not sure if SAGITARII won't mind what trophy he gets. What matters, he is on top of the podium for the second time of this season. Rick Viga on the podium for the second time as well. And that's Anonymous' first podium of the season. Congrats to all three of them. Congrats to all drivers who took part in this race, whether they DNF'd on the first lap or not. But look at all the penalties though. SAGITARII and Rick Viga both picking up 1 to their name. Anonymous without a penalty. Satoshi in 4th place. Agent Smith in 5th. Bascadino 6th. Mantis 7th. Milk 8th. Hazard 9th. Panda Cruiser 10th. Crazy Yoss 11th. There was lapped in 12th. Puba Gamer, Pokemon, Adam, Santino, and Ocean Chief round out your DNFs for the French Grand Prix. That is it then. For the 8th round of the WWRL Championship. That was a great race. I hope you enjoyed that race as much as I enjoyed commentating on it. We will be back for round 9 at the Red Bull Ring in Austria in a week's time. Hope to catch you then.